Welcome to a journey through the profound wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor whose personal reflections, compiled as meditations, continue to offer solace and guidance centuries after they were written. This audiobook aims to provide a comprehensive summary of this timeless work, exploring its core tenets and practical applications for living a virtuous and tranquil life. Divided into 12 books, Meditations is not a systematic philosophical treatise, but rather a collection of private notes, reminders, and aphorisms that Marcus wrote to himself, serving as a spiritual exercise and a means of self-improvement. He never intended for them to be published, which lends an intimate and authentic quality to his words. Book 1, Debts and Lessons, sets the stage by acknowledging the various individuals who shaped Marcus's character and intellect. It's a testament to his humility and gratitude, as he meticulously lists the specific virtues and lessons he learned from his grandfather Verus, his father, his mother, his great-grandfather, and a host of tutors, teachers, and friends. From his grandfather, he learned good temper and freedom from passion. His father taught him modesty and manliness. His mother instilled piety, generosity, and abstinence not only from evil deeds, but even from evil thoughts. Rusticus, one of his most influential teachers, introduced him to the writings of Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher whose teachings deeply resonated with Marcus. This book is a powerful reminder of the profound impact others have on our development and the importance of recognizing and appreciating those influences. It underscores the Stoic emphasis on the importance of good role models and the continuous pursuit of self-improvement through learning from others. It also highlights Marcus's own commitment to practical philosophy, seeking to embody the virtues he admired in others rather than merely theorizing about them. His gratitude is not superficial, it reflects a deep understanding of how these individuals contributed to his moral and intellectual formation. He doesn't just list names, he articulates specific qualities and the lessons derived from observing them, demonstrating a keen eye for character and a commitment to emulating virtue. This book, while seemingly a personal ledger of gratitude, serves as an introductory framework for the philosophical journey that follows, implicitly suggesting that a virtuous life is built upon a foundation of respect, gratitude, and a willingness to learn from all who cross our path. It's a humble opening to a work that, despite its imperial author, is deeply human and relatable in its pursuit of self-mastery and wisdom. The very act of acknowledging his mentors reinforces the idea that even an emperor is not above learning and being shaped by others. It sets a tone of introspection and a focus on character, which are hallmarks of the entire Meditations. This initial book, therefore, is crucial for understanding the context and the personal growth trajectory that Marcus Aurelius chronicles within his private writings. It shows us the seeds of his wisdom, sown by the examples and teachings of those who came before him. Book 2, written while Marcus was campaigning against the Quadi on the River Gran, immediately plunges into the core Stoic principles that guide his thoughts. It begins with the famous injunction to wake up each morning and remind oneself of the types of challenging individuals one might encounter: the interfering, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the treacherous, the envious, the unsocial. Marcus advises that these behaviors stem from ignorance of good and evil, and therefore, one should not be surprised or angered by them, for they are products of nature. This immediately sets the tone for accepting external circumstances and focusing on one's own internal response. He emphasizes the brevity of life and the fleeting nature of all things, urging the reader, and himself, to live in accordance with reason and virtue in the present moment. The past is gone, the future uncertain, only the present is truly ours. He stresses the importance of controlling one's internal judgments and opinions, as these are the only things truly within our power. External events are indifferent, it is our interpretation of them that causes distress. Marcus constantly reiterates the idea that what truly harms us is not what happens to us, but our reaction to what happens. He posits that reason is our guiding principle, and our duty is to align our will with universal nature. Death, he reminds us, is a natural process, an inevitable part of the cosmic order, and should not be feared. Instead, one should focus on living a virtuous life, as that is the only true good. He emphasizes the importance of performing one's duty and acting with justice, even when others act unjustly. The impermanence of all things is a recurring theme. Everything is in a state of flux, constantly changing and returning to the universal substance. This perspective is meant to detach one from the pursuit of fleeting pleasures and anxieties about inevitable losses. He encourages self-sufficiency in one's virtue, not relying on the approval or disapproval of others. True happiness, he suggests, comes from within, from living in harmony with reason and virtue. The transient nature of human life and human endeavors is a constant reminder to focus on what is truly important. The book concludes with a powerful reflection on the insignificance of individual existence within the vastness of the cosmos, yet paradoxically, it asserts the profound importance of living a life of purpose and virtue, as that is the only lasting legacy. This book establishes the fundamental Stoic framework that Marcus applies throughout his reflections: the dichotomy of control, the acceptance of fate, the impermanence of all things, and the supreme importance of reason and virtue. It's a call to practical philosophy, urging the reader to confront life's challenges with equanimity and a clear understanding of what truly matters. Book 3 continues to explore these themes, reinforcing the idea that the rational soul is the only part of us that truly matters. Marcus emphasizes the importance of living each day as if it were one's last, not in a reckless manner, but with a heightened sense of purpose and a commitment to virtue. He stresses the idea that our internal fortress, our mind and our judgments, is impregnable to external forces. No one can truly harm us unless we allow them to by consenting to their actions or by giving in to negative emotions. The focus remains on internal control and the cultivation of a virtuous character. He reiterates the need to shed all unnecessary thoughts and concerns, focusing only on what is essential and within our power. Distractions and superficial worries are impediments to living a truly fulfilling life. The mind, he argues, is like a citadel. If we keep it free from disturbance, we can achieve tranquility. He encourages introspection and self-examination, urging us to question our motives and ensure our actions are aligned with reason and justice. The impermanence of life is again brought to the forefront, serving as a powerful motivator to live virtuously in the present. He reminds himself, and us, that death is not to be feared, as it is a natural part of the cosmic process. Our time on Earth is limited, and therefore, we should make the most of it by dedicating ourselves to what is truly good. He reflects on the ephemeral nature of fame and reputation, arguing that they are ultimately meaningless. True value lies in one's character and actions, not in the opinions of others. He emphasizes the interconnectedness of all rational beings and the importance of acting for the common good. We are all parts of a larger whole, and our actions should reflect this understanding. He advocates for a life of simplicity and moderation, free from the excesses and desires that lead to suffering. The pursuit of external goods is ultimately futile, as they are all temporary and beyond our complete control. Instead, true wealth lies in a mind that is at peace and a character that is virtuous. Marcus encourages a detached perspective, viewing events with an objective eye, free from emotional entanglement. By understanding that everything happens according to universal nature, we can accept our circumstances with equanimity. He concludes by stressing the importance of continuous self-improvement and the lifelong pursuit of wisdom. Philosophy is not a theoretical exercise, but a practical guide for living. This book reinforces the practical application of Stoic principles, urging constant vigilance over one's thoughts and actions, and a profound acceptance of the transient nature of existence. It serves as a powerful call to live mindfully, with integrity, and in harmony with the natural order. Book 4 continues to delve into the ephemeral nature of existence and the power of the inner self. Marcus reinforces the idea that true tranquility comes from within, by accepting what is beyond our control and focusing on what is within our power, our judgments, our actions, and our reactions. He posits that the mind is a separate entity from the body and that the true essence of a person resides in their rational faculty. He argues that external things, such as wealth, fame, or even physical pain, cannot truly harm the soul unless the soul itself assents to that harm. This is a fundamental Stoic principle. It's not events that disturb us, but our opinions about them. He encourages a constant state of self-awareness and introspection, urging himself to examine his thoughts and motives regularly. If a thought or desire does not contribute to his rational well-being or the common good, it should be discarded. Marcus emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things and the cyclical nature of the universe. Everything that happens is part of a larger, divine plan, and resisting this plan only leads to suffering. Instead, one should embrace fate, or a more fatty, loving one's fate as an integral part of the cosmic order. He continually reminds himself that everything is constantly changing, flowing like a river. Empires rise and fall, individuals are born and die, but the universal substance remains. This perspective is meant to detach him from attachment to fleeting worldly possessions or even to his own life, as all are subject to dissolution. Death is not an ending but a transformation, a return to the universal elements. He stresses the importance of living in the present moment, as the past is gone and the future is uncertain. Only the present is truly ours to act upon with virtue and reason. A significant portion of Book 4 is dedicated to distinguishing between what is truly good and what is merely perceived as good. True good, for Marcus, lies in virtue, reason, and living in harmony with nature. External things are indifferent, neither good nor bad in themselves, and pursuing them as ultimate goods leads to anxiety and disappointment. He advises cultivating indifference to external outcomes, focusing solely on the purity of one's intentions and the integrity of one's actions. He cautions against seeking applause or external validation, as these are fleeting and superficial. True worth comes from within, from living a life of justice, wisdom, courage, and temperance. He also reflects on the nature of criticism and the opinions of others, advising that one should not be disturbed by them. Others' opinions are beyond our control, and their ignorance or malice should not dictate our inner peace. The only judgment that truly matters is that of our own rational faculty, ensuring our actions are consistent with our highest principles. Marcus frequently returns to the theme of our shared humanity and the need for benevolence and cooperation. We are all parts of a larger whole, a single rational community, and our duty is to work for the common good. He emphasizes the importance of compassion and forgiveness, recognizing that others' misdeeds often stem from ignorance rather than malice. He encourages a perspective of cosmic citizenship, where our loyalty extends beyond our immediate social circles to all of humanity. He also provides practical advice on how to deal with adversity and misfortune. When faced with challenges, one should remember that they are opportunities to practice virtue and to strengthen one's character. Adversity is not an evil in itself, but a test of our inner resilience. By viewing challenges through a rational lens, we can transform them into opportunities for growth. This book reinforces the essential Stoic practices of self-mastery, acceptance of fate, and the cultivation of inner peace regardless of external circumstances. It is a powerful reminder that our happiness is ultimately dependent on our own mind, not on the fickle whims of fortune or the opinions of others. Book 5 delves deeper into the practical application of Stoic principles in daily life, particularly in the face of duties and challenges. Marcus begins by addressing the natural human tendency to resist waking up and facing responsibilities, urging himself and the reader to remember that we are made for action and for the service of others. He argues that resisting this natural inclination is a perversion of our rational faculty. Our purpose is to contribute to the common good, and shirking our duties is akin to a limb refusing to perform its function. He emphasizes that work, even difficult or unpleasant work, is a natural and necessary part of human existence, and we should embrace it with a sense of purpose. A central theme in this book is the dichotomy of control, distinguishing between what is within our power and what is not. Marcus repeatedly asserts that our judgments, desires, and actions are within our power, while external events, the opinions of others, and even our own bodies are not. True freedom and tranquility come from focusing solely on what we can control and accepting everything else with equanimity. He advises against seeking external validation or being swayed by popular opinion, as these are fleeting and ultimately meaningless. Our true worth lies in our inner character and our alignment with reason. Marcus reflects on the nature of pain and discomfort, urging himself to view them objectively. Pain, he argues, is often amplified by our reactions to it. If we can strip away the emotional layers and see pain simply as a sensation, its power over us diminishes. He encourages a rational approach to suffering, reminding himself that pain is not inherently bad, and that the mind can remain undisturbed even when the body experiences discomfort. This is a practical exercise in resilience and mental fortitude. He also revisits the theme of impermanence and the brevity of life. Every moment, every person, every empire is fleeting. This constant reminder is not meant to induce despair, but to serve as a powerful motivator to live virtuously in the present. There is no time to waste on trivialities, resentment, or unnecessary anxieties. Focus on what truly matters, acting with justice, wisdom, and benevolence. The universe is in a constant state of flux, and we, as parts of it, must flow with it rather than resist. Marcus emphasizes the importance of reason as our guiding principle. Our rational faculty is a divine spark within us, and our duty is to cultivate it and live in accordance with its dictates. He encourages a rigorous examination of our thoughts, purging those that are irrational, harmful, or distracting. This process of self-purification is essential for achieving inner peace and clarity of mind. He reminds himself that the world is governed by a rational order, and by aligning our individual reason with this universal reason, we find harmony. Furthermore, he stresses the importance of benevolence and cooperation. We are social beings, and our well-being is intertwined with the well-being of others. Acting justly and kindly towards others is not merely a moral imperative, but also a path to our own flourishing. He advises against anger and resentment, recognizing that others' misdeeds often stem from ignorance. Instead, he advocates for understanding and compassion. This book, therefore, is a practical guide for navigating daily life with Stoic principles, emphasizing duty, internal control, resilience, and a commitment to both personal virtue and the common good. Book 6 continues the intricate tapestry of Marcus Aurelius's self-reflections, building upon the foundations laid in previous books and offering more pointed advice on living a life of virtue amidst the demands of empire. A prominent theme here is the acceptance of fate and the recognition that everything that happens is part of a larger, benevolent cosmic order. Marcus emphasizes that whatever is good for the whole is also good for the part. Therefore, if something occurs according to the universal nature, it must ultimately be for the best, even if it appears to be a misfortune from our limited perspective. This concept of amor fati is central, loving one's fate and embracing whatever circumstances arise, viewing them as opportunities for growth and the exercise of virtue. He strongly reiterates the power of the inner self and the impregnability of the mind. Our internal fortress, our judgments and opinions, cannot be breached by external events. What truly harms us is not what happens, but our reaction to it. He advises guarding our inner peace fiercely, not allowing external disturbances, the opinions of others, or even physical pain to shake our tranquility. This requires constant vigilance and a disciplined mind, capable of distinguishing between indifferent externals and the only true good, which is our virtue. Marcus often reminds himself of the brevity of life and the transient nature of all things. He lists various emperors, philosophers, and famous figures who have passed into oblivion, underscoring the futility of seeking lasting fame or material possessions. Everything is in a state of flux, constantly changing and returning to the universal substance. This perspective is designed to foster detachment from fleeting worldly concerns and to focus instead on what is eternal and truly meaningful. The cultivation of a virtuous character. Death is presented not as an evil, but as a natural process, a return to the elements from which we came, and therefore not to be feared. He emphasizes the importance of reason as the guiding principle of human life. Our rational faculty is our most precious possession, and our duty is to use it to discern what is true, good, and in accordance with nature. He urges a rigorous self-examination of one's thoughts, emotions, and actions, ensuring they are aligned with reason and virtue. Irrational thoughts and desires are to be purged, as they are sources of disturbance and suffering. He champions a life lived in accordance with nature, which for a rational being means living in accordance with reason. Another significant aspect of Book 6 is the emphasis on social duty and benevolence. As rational beings, we are inherently social and designed to cooperate for the common good. Marcus reminds himself that we are all parts of a larger whole, a single rational community. Therefore, our actions should always aim to benefit humanity, not just ourselves. He advises against anger, resentment, and a desire for revenge, as these emotions disrupt our inner peace and are contrary to our social nature. Instead, he promotes compassion, forgiveness, and a willingness to understand others, even when they He also provides practical advice on how to approach daily tasks and interactions. Every action, no matter how small, should be performed with a sense of purpose and in accordance with virtue. He encourages simplicity and moderation in all things, avoiding excess and superficiality. He also touches upon the idea that we should not allow the perceived imperfections or misdeeds of others to deter us from our own virtuous path. Our focus should always be on our own integrity and our contribution to the universal order. This book, therefore, is a powerful call to self-mastery, acceptance of the cosmic order, and a life dedicated to reason, virtue, and service to humanity. Book 7 continues to deepen Marcus Aurelius's exploration of internal tranquility and rational living, offering a mosaic of aphorisms and reminders to solidify his Stoic practice. A recurring imperative is the constant self-examination of one's thoughts and opinions. He urges himself to strip away superficiality and get to the core of any issue, questioning the true nature of things and discarding all that is unnecessary or irrational. This rigorous introspection is the bedrock of Stoic discipline, allowing one to maintain control over their inner world regardless of external circumstances. He emphasizes the power of the mind over external events. Nothing can truly harm us unless we allow it to, by consenting to negative judgments or emotions. The mind, if trained correctly, can remain serene amidst chaos. He reminds himself that the universe is constantly in flux, a stream of events flowing past us. Our role is not to resist this flow, but to observe it with detachment and to focus on our own virtuous actions within it. This calls for a profound acceptance of the present moment and a release from anxieties about the past or future. Marcus frequently returns to the theme of interconnectedness and universal nature. Everything is part of a single, rational whole, and all events unfold according to a benevolent cosmic plan. To resist this plan is to resist nature itself, leading to frustration and suffering. Instead, one should embrace one's fate and recognize that what is good for the whole is also good for the individual part. This perspective fosters contentment and resilience in the face of adversity. He reiterates that we are all parts of a larger, social organism, and our duty is to contribute to the common good through acts of justice, kindness, and cooperation. The brevity and impermanence of life remain a powerful motif. Marcus reminds himself of the countless individuals, great and small, who have lived and died, their achievements fading into obscurity. This reflection is not morbid but liberating, urging him to focus on what truly matters, living virtuously in the time allotted. There is no time for anger, trivial pursuits, or dwelling on past grievances. Every moment is an opportunity to practice philosophy and to live in alignment with reason. Death is portrayed as a natural dissolution, a return to the universal substance, and therefore not something to be feared. He provides practical advice for dealing with common human failings, both in oneself and in others. When encountering someone who acts unjustly or foolishly, Marcus advises against anger. Instead, one should remember that their actions stem from ignorance and that their character is their own concern. Our focus should be on maintaining our own virtue and responding with reason and benevolence. He also cautions against vanity and the pursuit of external recognition. True honor comes from within, from a life lived with integrity, not from the fickle opinions of others. The book also touches upon the idea of simplicity and freedom from desire. Many of our anxieties and much of our suffering come from attaching ourselves to external things, wealth, pleasure, fame, that are beyond our control and inherently fleeting. By simplifying our desires and focusing on what is truly necessary and within our power, we can achieve a profound sense of inner peace and self-sufficiency. This detachment allows for a greater appreciation of the simple, natural joys of existence. Book 7, then, serves as a rich collection of immediate, actionable reminders for maintaining Stoic equanimity and purpose in the everyday struggles of life. Book 8 continues to hammer home the core Stoic principles, often presenting them as direct imperatives to Marcus himself, serving as firm admonitions for maintaining philosophical discipline. A dominant theme is the absolute supremacy of the inner citadel, the mind, or guiding intelligence. He continually stresses that our thoughts and judgments are the only things truly within our control, and that external events, opinions, or even physical pain cannot harm us unless we choose to be harmed by our reaction to them. This forms the cornerstone of his approach to dealing with adversity. What upsets us is not the event itself, but our interpretation of it. He reiterates the impermanence of all things and the vastness of time. Empires, monuments, and even the most celebrated individuals eventually vanish into oblivion. This perspective is not meant to induce nihilism, but to liberate the mind from attachment to fleeting worldly concerns. By recognizing the transient nature of everything external, one can focus on the only true and lasting good, virtue, and a rational disposition. Death, he reminds himself, is a natural part of the cosmic cycle, a dissolution into the elements, and therefore should be met with equanimity, not fear. Marcus emphasizes the rational order of the universe and the interconnectedness of all beings. Everything that happens is part of a larger, divine plan, and to resist it is to resist nature itself. He encourages acceptance of fate, amor fati, viewing every event, even those perceived as misfortunes, as necessary components of the whole, and opportunities to practice virtue. This cosmic perspective helps to contextualize individuals' suffering and to foster a sense of belonging within the grand design. We are all parts of a single, rational organism, and our actions should therefore contribute to the common good. A significant portion of this book is dedicated to combating negative emotions like anger, resentment, and fear. Marcus repeatedly advises against being disturbed by the actions of others, understanding that their wrongdoings stem from ignorance rather than malice. He encourages compassion and forgiveness, reminding himself that anger is a self-inflicted wound that only disturbs one's own peace. The focus should always be on one's own integrity and rational response, regardless of how others behave. He also provides practical guidelines for daily life, such as acting with simplicity, sincerity, and modesty. He warns against unnecessary busyness and the pursuit of external recognition, stating that true happiness comes from within, from living in accordance with reason. Every action, no matter how trivial, should be performed with full attention and in accordance with virtue. He urges himself to remain present, not to worry about the future, and to make the most of the present moment, as it is the only one we truly possess. Marcus stresses the importance of detachment from pleasure and pain. Both are fleeting sensations, and allowing them to dictate our actions leads to a life of perpetual anxiety and dissatisfaction. True contentment comes from finding joy in the exercise of reason and virtue, independent of external circumstances. He concludes by reinforcing the idea that philosophical principles are not meant to be abstract theories, but practical tools for navigating life's challenges with wisdom and tranquility. This book serves as a powerful call to constant vigilance over one's inner state and unwavering commitment to a virtuous life. Book 9 continues Marcus Aurelius's relentless self-exhortation, focusing on the pervasive nature of rationality, the inevitability of change, and the importance of our social duties. A core tenet reiterated here is that wrongdoing is a consequence of ignorance. When someone acts unjustly or wickedly, it is because they are unaware of what truly benefits them, or they mistakenly believe that their actions will lead to good. This understanding is crucial for fostering compassion and preventing anger, allowing Marcus to view others' errors with a degree of philosophical detachment rather than personal offense. He reminds himself that to be angry at someone's actions is to forget that they are part of the same human community, striving imperfectly within the universal order. He further emphasizes the unity of the cosmos and the interconnectedness of all things. Everything that exists and everything that happens is part of a single, rational, and benevolent plan. To understand this is to embrace fate and to recognize that nothing can truly harm a rational being if they maintain their inner integrity. He contrasts the scattered existence of those who lack a guiding philosophy with the harmonious, purposeful life of one who lives in accordance with reason. This highlights the Stoic belief that a virtuous life is one that aligns with universal nature. The brevity of human life and the ceaseless flow of time are recurring themes. Marcus frequently recalls how quickly individuals, even emperors and great thinkers, pass into oblivion. This contemplation is not morbid but serves as a powerful catalyst for living purposefully in the present. He urges himself to focus on what truly matters, virtue, justice, and service to humanity, and to discard superficial concerns, petty grievances, and the pursuit of fleeting pleasures or external recognition. The past is gone, the future uncertain, only the present is ours to act upon with virtue. He delves into the nature of truth and illusion, urging himself to perceive things as they truly are, stripped of emotional biases and conventional opinions. This requires rigorous self-honesty and a commitment to rational thought, distinguishing between what is truly good or bad and what is merely perceived as such. He advises against being swayed by appearances or by the irrationality of the crowd. The only true good is a virtuous mind. Marcus also addresses the social aspect of human existence. As rational beings, we are designed for cooperation and mutual support. He reminds himself that doing wrong to another is a violation of this shared nature, and ultimately harms oneself. He stresses the importance of acting for the common good, viewing humanity as a single city or community. This includes practicing forgiveness, patience, and benevolence, even towards those who act unjustly. He He provides concrete reminders to overcome impulses of anger and to instead respond with reason and a desire to help, if possible. Finally, the book touches upon the concept of detachment from the body and external possessions. The body is merely a vessel, and physical sensations, whether pleasure or pain, are temporary and do not define our true selves. Our true essence lies in our rational faculty, which can remain serene and unperturbed regardless of bodily discomforts or material losses. This detachment is key to achieving true freedom and inner peace. Book 9 solidifies the practical application of Stoic principles in navigating human interactions and accepting the fundamental truths of existence. Book 10 presents a culmination of Marcus Aurelius's Stoic reflections, offering a powerful summary of his core beliefs and practical advice for living. A central idea is the acceptance of all that happens as part of a divine, rational order. He repeatedly reminds himself that everything that occurs, no matter how seemingly adverse, is necessary and contributes to the greater good of the universe. To resist this universal nature is futile and leads only to suffering. He stresses that the wise person finds contentment in whatever circumstances they face, understanding that everything is interconnected and ultimately serves a purpose. This is a profound affirmation of fate and providence. He emphasizes the power of our own mind to shape our reality. External events are indifferent. It is our judgments and opinions about them that determine our emotional state. Therefore, true happiness and freedom come from controlling our internal responses, rather than attempting to control external circumstances. He urges constant vigilance over one's thoughts, weeding out those that are irrational, harmful, or based on false assumptions. This self-mastery is the ultimate form of power. The brevity of human life and the impermanence of all things remain prominent themes, serving as a continuous spur to live virtuously in the present. Marcus reminds himself that all individuals, empires, and achievements are fleeting, destined to pass into oblivion. This perspective is meant to detach him from worldly attachments and anxieties, allowing him to focus on the only true and lasting good, his character and actions. Death is portrayed as a natural dissolution, a transformation, and therefore not to be feared. It is simply a part of the cosmic cycle. He reiterates the social nature of humanity and our duty to contribute to the common good. We are all parts of a larger rational community, and our actions should always reflect this interconnectedness. He advocates for benevolence, justice, and compassion towards all, even those who He firmly believes that wrongdoing stems from ignorance and that anger or resentment towards others is ultimately self-defeating. Instead, one should strive to understand and to help, if possible, or at least to maintain one's own inner peace. Marcus also provides practical methods for maintaining equanimity. He advises against dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, as only the present moment truly exists and is within our control. He encourages simplicity in living, rejecting unnecessary luxuries and superficial pursuits that only lead to dissatisfaction. He stresses the importance of performing every task, no matter how mundane, with diligence and a sense of purpose, seeing it as an opportunity to practice virtue. A key Stoic practice highlighted is the objective perspective, viewing things stripped of emotional bias, seeing them as they truly are, composed of matter and cause. This helps to neutralize the emotional charge of events and allows for a more rational response. He reflects on the insignificance of individual life within the vastness of the universe, yet paradoxically, it is within this finite existence that we have the profound opportunity to cultivate wisdom and contribute to the rational order. This book is essentially a concentrated dose of Marcus Aurelius's most profound and actionable insights for living a philosophical life. Book 11 continues the intimate dialogue Marcus Aurelius holds with himself, focusing largely on the nature of rationality, virtue in action, and the art of dealing with others. He opens by reminding himself that the rational soul, unlike the animal or vegetative soul, can truly contemplate itself, analyze its impulses, and shape its own destiny. This capacity for self-awareness and self-correction is what sets humanity apart and is the wellspring of true freedom. He emphasizes that the philosopher's task is not to merely discuss virtue, but to live it, to embody its principles in every action and interaction. A significant portion of this book is dedicated to understanding and responding to the actions of others. Marcus reiterates his consistent view that people who commit wrongs do so out of ignorance of what is truly good. This perspective is vital for cultivating compassion and avoiding anger. Instead of reacting with indignation, he advises observing their actions with a detached, rational mind, much like a physician observes a patient's illness. He reminds himself that others' opinions and actions, even if directed negatively towards him, cannot disturb his inner peace unless he allows them to. Their judgment is their own concern, and his focus must remain on his own integrity and virtue. He provides practical guidance on how to discern true motivations and to see things for what they are. He encourages stripping away the superficial layers of perception and convention to arrive at the raw reality of a situation. This involves asking questions like, what is this really? Is it good or bad for me? This practice of objective judgment is crucial for maintaining equanimity. He warns against allowing external appearances or the opinions of the crowd to dictate one's internal state. The theme of living in accordance with nature is strongly present. For a rational being, living naturally means living rationally and socially. Every action should aim towards the common good and should be performed with a sense of justice and benevolence. He contrasts the fragmented, inconsistent life of those driven by passions with the harmonious, consistent life of the philosopher who aligns their will with universal reason. This alignment brings genuine contentment. Marcus also touches upon the briefness of fame and the insignificance of worldly praise. He reminds himself that even the most lauded individuals and their achievements are quickly forgotten in the vast expanse of time. This reflection serves to detach him from the pursuit of external validation and to focus instead on the intrinsic value of virtuous action. The only true applause that matters is that of one's own conscience, knowing that one has acted justly and wisely. Finally, he reinforces the idea that philosophy is a continuous practice, not a destination. It requires constant effort, self-discipline, and a willingness to confront one's own imperfections. He urges himself to persevere in the pursuit of wisdom, to constantly refine his character, and to live each moment as if it were the last, ensuring that his actions are always aligned with his highest principles. Book 11 serves as a poignant reminder that the Stoic path is one of ongoing self-mastery and a compassionate engagement with the world. Book 12, the concluding section of the Meditations, serves as a powerful summation of Marcus Aurelius's philosophical journey and a final, urgent call to live a life of reason and virtue. It distills the essence of his Stoic thought into concise, potent reminders, urging himself to apply these principles relentlessly. He begins by reflecting on the three essential rules for living a fulfilling life. Firstly, to know the nature of the universe and one's place within it. Secondly, to understand the true nature of the rational soul and its capacity for self-governance. And thirdly, to recognize the impermanence of all things and to detach from what is external and beyond our control. These three pillars underpin his entire philosophy. Marcus powerfully reiterates the centrality of our inner self and our judgments. He emphasizes that nothing can truly harm us unless we allow it to, through our own internal assent or misguided opinions. The mind is an impregnable fortress, and true freedom lies in maintaining its tranquility regardless of external circumstances. He urges himself to dismiss all unnecessary thoughts and worries, focusing solely on the present moment and his immediate duty, performed with justice and self-control. The brevity of life and the ceaseless flow of time are emphasized more forcefully than ever. He presents life as a fleeting moment in an infinite expanse, a mere point in the continuum of eternity. This perspective is not meant to induce despair, but to serve as a profound motivator. There is no time to waste on trivialities, anger, or fear. Every breath is an opportunity to act virtuously, to embrace our fate, and to return gracefully to the universal whole. Death is presented not as an end, but as a natural and necessary transformation, a return to the elements, and therefore not to be feared. He once again addresses the interconnectedness of all beings and our inherent social duty. We are all parts of a single, rational cosmos, and our well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of others. He champions benevolence, forgiveness, and cooperation, advising against anger and resentment, as they only harm the self. To live rationally is to live socially, working harmoniously with fellow human beings. Marcus repeatedly returns to the idea of acceptance of fate and the rationality of the universe. Everything that happens is part of a divine plan, and to resist it is to resist our own nature. He urges a profound trust in this cosmic order, recognizing that every event, every challenge, is an opportunity for the rational soul to exercise virtue. There is a sense of resignation, but a positive, active resignation, one that finds peace and alignment with universal reason. The book concludes with a final, poignant reflection on the acceptance of death and the cyclical nature of existence. Life is a journey, and death is the natural end of that journey, like an actor leaving the stage. He stresses that true contentment comes from having lived a virtuous life, from having performed one's duties, and from being ready to depart without fear or complaint. Book 12 is Marcus Aurelius's ultimate reminder to live fully, wisely, and with acceptance, for in doing so, we find true peace and harmony with the universe. Book 9 continues Marcus Aurelius's relentless self-exhortation, focusing on the pervasive nature of rationality, the inevitability of change, and the importance of our social duties. A core tenet reiterated here is that wrongdoing is a consequence of ignorance. When someone acts unjustly or wickedly, it is because they are unaware of what truly benefits them, or they mistakenly believe that their actions will lead to good. This understanding is crucial for fostering compassion and preventing anger, allowing Marcus to view others' errors with a degree of philosophical detachment rather than personal offense. He reminds himself that to be angry at someone's actions is to forget that they are part of the same human community, striving imperfectly within the universal order. He further emphasizes the unity of the cosmos and the interconnectedness of all things. Everything that exists and everything that happens is part of a single, rational, and benevolent plan. To understand this is to embrace fate and to recognize that nothing can truly harm a rational being if they maintain their inner integrity. He contrasts the scattered existence of those who lack a guiding philosophy with the harmonious, purposeful life of one who lives in accordance with reason. This highlights the Stoic belief that a virtuous life is one that aligns with universal nature. The brevity of human life and the ceaseless flow of time are recurring themes. Marcus frequently recalls how quickly individuals, even emperors and great thinkers, pass into oblivion. This contemplation is not morbid but serves as a powerful catalyst for living purposefully in the present. He urges himself to focus on what truly matters, virtue, justice, and service to humanity, and to discard superficial concerns, petty grievances, and the pursuit of fleeting pleasures or external recognition. The past is gone, the future uncertain, only the present is ours to act upon with virtue. He delves into the nature of truth and illusion, urging himself to perceive things as they truly are, stripped of emotional biases and conventional opinions. This requires rigorous self-honesty and a commitment to rational thought, distinguishing between what is truly good or bad and what is merely perceived as such. He advises against being swayed by appearances or by the irrationality of the crowd. The only true good is a virtuous mind. Marcus also addresses the social aspect of human existence. As rational beings, we are designed for cooperation and mutual support. He reminds himself that doing wrong to another is a violation of this shared nature, and ultimately harms oneself. He stresses the importance of acting for the common good, viewing humanity as a single city or community. This includes practicing forgiveness, patience, and benevolence, even towards those who act unjustly. He provides concrete reminders to overcome impulses of anger and to instead respond with reason and a desire to help, if possible. Finally, the book touches upon the concept of detachment from the body and external possessions. The body is merely a vessel, and physical sensations, whether pleasure or pain, are temporary and do not define our true selves. Our true essence lies in our rational faculty, which can remain serene and unperturbed regardless of bodily discomforts or material losses. This detachment is key to achieving true freedom and inner peace. Book 9 solidifies the practical application of Stoic principles in navigating human interactions and accepting the fundamental truths of existence. Overall summary of the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Meditations is not a philosophical treatise meant for publication, but rather a deeply personal collection of reflections, aphorisms, and self-exhortations written by Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius during his military campaigns. These 12 books serve as his private journal, a spiritual and intellectual exercise through which he sought to practice and embody the principles of Stoic philosophy. The entire work is narrated by a single voice, reflecting the introspective and singular nature of its composition. The foundational principle woven throughout in Meditations is the dichotomy of control, the recognition that some things are within our power, our judgments, opinions, desires, and actions, while others are not, external events, the opinions of others, our physical bodies, and the past or future. Marcus consistently urges himself to focus solely on what is within his control and to accept everything else with equanimity. This radical acceptance is key to achieving inner tranquility and freedom from distress. He tirelessly reminds himself that external events are indifferent. It is our interpretation and reaction to them that causes suffering or happiness. A pervasive theme is the impermanence and brevity of human life. Marcus frequently contemplates the fleeting nature of all things. Empires rise and fall, individuals are born and die, and even the most celebrated achievements eventually fade into oblivion. This contemplation is not intended to induce despair, but rather to serve as a powerful motivator to live virtuously and purposefully in the present moment. Since life is short and uncertain, there is no time for anger, trivial pursuits, or clinging to external goods. Death is consistently portrayed as a natural and inevitable part of the cosmic cycle, a return to the universal substance, and therefore not to be feared. It is simply the natural conclusion to the play of life, to be met with grace and acceptance. Reason is presented as the supreme guiding principle for a human being. Marcus emphasizes that our rational faculty is our most divine possession, and our duty is to cultivate it, purify it, and live in accordance with its dictates. This involves constant self-examination, scrutinizing one's thoughts and motives, and discarding those that are irrational, harmful, or inconsistent with virtue. Living in accordance with reason is synonymous with living in accordance with nature, which for Marcus refers to the universal, rational order of the cosmos. He believes that everything happens according to a benevolent and interconnected divine plan, and to resist this plan leads only to frustration and suffering. This leads to the practice of a more fatty love of fate, embracing whatever circumstances arise as necessary and ultimately good for the whole. The social nature of humanity is another cornerstone of his philosophy. Marcus repeatedly stresses that humans are inherently social beings, designed for cooperation and mutual support. He views humanity as a single, rational community, and advocates for actions that contribute to the common good. He urges benevolence, forgiveness, and compassion towards others, even those who err. His understanding is that wrongdoing stems from ignorance of what is truly good, rather than malice. Therefore, anger and resentment are self-defeating emotions that disturb one's own peace and are contrary to our natural inclination for fellowship. Throughout the 12 books, Marcus provides practical advice for navigating the challenges of daily life. This includes cultivating detachment from pleasure and pain, recognizing them as fleeting sensations that should not dictate our inner state. He advocates for simplicity and moderation in all things, avoiding excess and superficiality. He stresses the importance of performing every task, no matter how mundane, with diligence, purpose, and a sense of duty. He also encourages maintaining an objective perspective, viewing events and people stripped of emotional bias, seeing them as they truly are, composed of matter and cause. This helps in remaining unperturbed by external disturbances. In essence, Meditations is a timeless manual for self-mastery and inner peace in a chaotic world. It teaches us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot, to accept the inevitable with grace, to live rationally and virtuously in the present moment, and to treat all human beings with justice and compassion. It is a profound testament to the power of philosophy as a practical guide for living a meaningful and tranquil life, regardless of one's external circumstances, even those of a Roman emperor. The depth of its introspection and the universality of its wisdom continue to resonate, offering guidance to anyone seeking to cultivate resilience, virtue, and serenity in the face of life's challenges. The entirety of Meditations can be seen as Marcus Aurelius's continuous spiritual exercise, a rigorous training of the mind to adhere to Stoic principles. It's a testament to his dedication to philosophy not as an academic pursuit, but as a lived experience. Directly applicable to the immense pressures of leading the Roman Empire during a period of war, plague, and political unrest. His struggles are evident in the repeated reminders to himself, suggesting that even an emperor found it challenging to consistently uphold these high ideals, making his advice all the more relatable and human. A key aspect of his practice is the constant contemplation of death and impermanence. Far from being morbid, this regular reflection serves as a powerful antidote to anxiety about trivial matters and attachment to transient pleasures or possessions. By envisioning the inevitable end of all things, Marcus sought to clarify his priorities and focus on what truly mattered, the cultivation of his character and the performance of his duty. This constant awareness of life's fleeting nature imbued his actions with urgency and a deep sense of purpose, reminding him to make the most of every single moment. The repeated invocations of the deceased philosophers, emperors, and ordinary people underscore the universal fate that awaits all, thereby diminishing the fear of death itself and placing life's problems into a grander, cosmic perspective. Marcus's philosophy is deeply egalitarian in its core application. While he was the most powerful man in the world, his meditations reveal a profound sense of humility and a recognition of shared human nature. He constantly reminds himself that he is no different from any other human being in terms of his vulnerability to fortune and his ultimate mortality. This humility allows him to approach others with empathy and understanding, recognizing their faults as stemming from ignorance rather than inherent malice. This egalitarian perspective fosters his commitment to social duty and the common good, transcending social hierarchies and focusing on universal human interconnectedness. His role as emperor was, for him, simply another form of service to the larger community of humanity, demanding justice, fairness, and tireless effort. The concept of virtue is central and unwavering. For Marcus, virtue is the only true good, and vice is the only true evil. All other things, health, wealth, reputation, pain, pleasure, are indifferent, meaning they are neither inherently good nor bad. This emphasis on internal virtue provides a stable foundation for happiness, independent of external circumstances. He defines virtue largely through the cardinal Stoic virtues: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Wisdom allows one to discern what is truly good, justice guides one's interactions with others, courage enables one to face adversity, and temperance allows for self-control and moderation. Living a virtuous life, therefore, is not a burdensome task, but the path to genuine freedom, tranquility, and fulfillment. He frequently employs various mental exercises to aid in his philosophical practice. One such exercise is the view from above, imagining himself looking down on the world from a great height, seeing the vastness of the universe and the insignificance of human affairs. This helps to detach him from petty worries and to maintain a cosmic perspective. Another is the practice of premeditation of evils, premeditatio malorum, anticipating potential misfortunes so that he is not surprised or overwhelmed should they occur. This mental preparation builds resilience and reduces the shock of adversity. He also frequently breaks down complex situations into their simplest components, matter and cause, stripping away emotional layers to see things objectively. In its entirety, meditations functions as an ongoing conversation with the self, a series of reminders to stay true to one's principles in a world that constantly seeks to pull one away. It's an intensely personal and yet universally applicable guide for navigating the complexities of existence with dignity, resilience, and inner peace. It doesn't offer easy answers, but rather a robust framework for confronting life's inevitable challenges by transforming one's internal landscape. The enduring power of Marcus Aurelius's words lies in their raw honesty, his demonstrable struggle to embody the virtues he espoused, and the timeless relevance of his insights into human nature and the pursuit of a meaningful life. The audiobook, narrated by a single voice, invites the listener into this intimate philosophical journey, allowing them to experience the emperor's wisdom as if it were whispered directly to them. This summary aims to encapsulate the breadth and depth of his profound insights across the 12 books, highlighting the consistent philosophical threads that tie them together into a coherent whole. The recurring motif of acceptance of the present moment is perhaps one of the most actionable takeaways from Meditations. Marcus consistently reminds himself that the past is gone and cannot be changed, and the future is uncertain and beyond our control. Therefore, the only sphere of influence we truly possess is the present. This emphasis on living fully and virtuously now liberates the mind from the anxieties of regret over what has passed or apprehension about what might come. He urges himself to embrace each task, each interaction, each breath with full attention and dedication, viewing it as the sole opportunity to practice virtue and align with the cosmic order. This focus on the present is not about thoughtless impulsivity, but about mindful, reasoned action in the only segment of time truly available to us. Another crucial aspect of his thought is the concept of universal kinship and the common good. Marcus frequently views humanity as a single interconnected organism, a city of the world. This perspective profoundly influences his understanding of justice and social responsibility. He argues that harming another is ultimately harming oneself, as all rational beings are parts of a greater whole. This philosophical stance underpins his calls for benevolence, forgiveness, and active cooperation. Despite his immense power, he sees himself as a servant to this larger community, bound by duty to act justly and compassionately towards all, regardless of their social standing or perceived flaws. This perspective fosters a deep sense of humility and a commitment to contribute positively to the collective human experience. The discipline of assent is a core Stoic practice Marcus often references. This refers to the rigorous control over one's judgments and opinions. He continuously trains himself to withhold assent from impressions that are irrational, misleading, or emotionally charged. By carefully examining each thought and determining its truthfulness and utility, he seeks to prevent false beliefs and negative emotions from taking root. This mental discipline is crucial for maintaining inner peace, as it recognizes that our distress often arises not from external events themselves, but from the subjective interpretations we impose upon them. The constant weeding out of unhelpful thoughts is a form of mental hygiene, essential for keeping the inner citadel strong and clear. Marcus also touches upon the futility of external pursuits for genuine happiness. He repeatedly dismisses the allure of fame, wealth, pleasure, and power, not because they are inherently evil, but because they are external, fleeting, and ultimately beyond our complete control. Relying on such things for contentment leads to a life of perpetual anxiety and dissatisfaction, as they can be lost as quickly as they are gained. True happiness, he asserts, resides solely in internal virtue, in the purity of one's intentions, and in living a life aligned with reason and nature. This profound detachment from external goods allows for a robust inner self-sufficiency, where one's well-being is not hostage to the whims of fortune. His meditations also reveal a deep commitment to continual learning and self-improvement. Despite being an emperor, Marcus never ceases to learn from his experiences, from the people around him, and from the wisdom of past philosophers. The very act of writing meditations is a learning process, a way for him to consolidate his thoughts, reinforce his principles, and confront his own shortcomings. This ongoing pursuit of wisdom underscores the Stoic belief that philosophy is not a static body of knowledge, but a dynamic, lifelong practice that shapes character and informs every aspect of existence. The fragmented, aphoristic style of the books reflects this continuous engagement, like a philosopher constantly reevaluating and reaffirming their commitment to the path of virtue. In sum, Meditations is a profound and intensely practical guide to Stoicism. It is a work that asks the reader not merely to understand philosophy intellectually, but to embody it. Through Marcus Aurelius's humble and honest self-dialogue, we are invited to confront our own anxieties, reevaluate our priorities, and cultivate an inner fortress of peace and resilience. The enduring relevance of his wisdom lies in its focus on universal human experiences, suffering, loss, duty, morality, and its enduring promise that true freedom and happiness are found not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering ourselves. The audiobook format, presented in a single voice, further enhances this intimate invitation, allowing the listener to absorb the emperor's profound reflections as if they were personal directives for their own journey towards a more tranquil and purposeful life. One of the most striking characteristics of the Meditations is its unwavering focus on practical application over abstract theory. Marcus Aurelius was not merely speculating about philosophical concepts. He was actively engaging in a process of self-correction and self-mastery amidst the immense pressures of his imperial duties. Each reflection, each reminder, is geared towards helping him act more justly, think more clearly, and remain more tranquil in the face of political intrigue, military campaigns, and personal loss. This practical emphasis makes Meditations profoundly accessible and relevant to anyone grappling with the complexities of everyday life, regardless of their station. He constantly pushes himself to not just understand Stoicism, but to live it. The concept of duty is profoundly important throughout the work. Marcus consistently reminds himself of his responsibilities as emperor, as a human being, and as a rational part of the universe. He sees his work, no matter how arduous or unpleasant, as a necessary function within the cosmic order and his role in the human community. This sense of duty transcends personal comfort or desire for ease. For him, performing one's duty with diligence and integrity is a form of virtue itself, a necessary component of living in accordance with reason. This commitment to duty provides a strong internal compass, guiding his actions and helping him to prioritize what is truly important over what is merely pleasurable or convenient. The discipline of action, a cornerstone of Stoicism, is heavily emphasized. This discipline involves not just knowing what the right thing to do is, but actually doing it, and doing it with the right intention and attitude. Marcus constantly exhorts himself to act justly, to speak truthfully, and to approach every task with a calm and collected mind. He warns against procrastination and indecision, urging prompt and effective action in line with his principles. This active engagement with the world, guided by virtue, is seen as essential for a flourishing life, countering any misconception that Stoicism is a philosophy of passive acceptance. Instead, it is a philosophy of active, reasoned engagement. His reflections frequently return to the idea of transcending the ego. Marcus consistently seeks to diminish the importance of his individual desires and concerns in favor of the universal good. He sees himself as a transient part of a larger whole, and his actions should reflect this interconnectedness. The pursuit of fame, recognition, or personal comfort is repeatedly dismissed as vain and ultimately meaningless. This detachment from ego-driven desires allows him to act with greater impartiality, sincerity, and focus on his true purpose, which is to contribute to the harmony of the universe and the well-being of his fellow human beings. The concept of living in harmony with nature is not merely an abstract ideal but a practical directive for Marcus. For him, nature refers to both the universal rational order of the cosmos and the particular rational nature of humanity. To live naturally is to live rationally, to follow the dictates of reason, and to accept the unfolding of events as part of a benevolent design. This harmony extends to accepting the inevitable cycles of life and death, and to recognizing the interconnectedness of all phenomena. This worldview provides a profound sense of peace and belonging, as one sees oneself as an integral and necessary component of a magnificent, ordered universe. Finally, meditation stands as a powerful testament to the human capacity for resilience and inner fortitude. Written during times of immense stress and personal adversity, the work is a continuous exercise in building mental resilience. Marcus confronts his fears, his frustrations, and his own human weaknesses with remarkable honesty and persistence. He models a path for turning obstacles into opportunities for practicing virtue, demonstrating that true strength lies not in avoiding challenges, but in meeting them with a clear mind and an unshakable commitment to one's principles. The enduring appeal of the Meditations is its authentic voice of a leader grappling with the human condition, offering timeless wisdom for cultivating a mind that can remain serene and purposeful amidst life's storms. The summary aims to capture this multifaceted depth, inviting continued reflection on the profound lessons contained within this extraordinary work. Beyond the core Stoic tenets, Meditations offers a nuanced exploration of the nature of perception and judgment. Marcus repeatedly instructs himself to scrutinize his impressions, to strip away personal biases, emotional reactions, and societal conventions, and to see things as they truly are. This objective analysis is crucial for rational living. He cautions against forming hasty judgments or allowing superficial appearances to dictate one's inner state. For example, he might reflect on a piece of roasted meat, observing it not as a tempting delicacy, but merely as the corpse of an animal, thus diminishing its power over his desires. This practice of dispassionate observation extends to people and events, allowing him to perceive their underlying nature and avoid irrational responses like anger or envy. He aims for a clear, unclouded view of reality, undistorted by passion or prejudice. He also delves into the concept of inner freedom, asserting that true liberty comes not from external circumstances or the ability to do whatever one pleases, but from the ability to control one's own mind. Even under the constraints of emperorship, or facing the inevitability of death, Marcus believed that his internal world remained his own domain. No external force could compel him to think ill thoughts, feel irrational emotions, or act against his principles, unless he consented. This profound sense of internal autonomy is a recurring source of strength and comfort throughout his reflections, emphasizing that our ultimate happiness is self-determined. The work also subtly explores the theme of solitude and self-reliance of the soul. While Marcus strongly advocates for social duty and cooperation, he also recognizes the ultimate aloneness of the individual mind in its quest for wisdom. The Meditations themselves are a testament to this, being private notes intended solely for his own reflection and improvement. He emphasizes the need for the rational soul to be a self-sufficient entity, capable of finding peace within itself, independent of external comforts, relationships, or validation. This doesn't negate the importance of others, but rather asserts the individual's ultimate responsibility for their own moral and psychological well-being. Marcus frequently uses analogy and metaphor to illustrate his points, drawing from nature, crafts, and the human body. He compares the mind to a physician healing itself, to a citadel resistant to external attack, or to a river flowing ceaselessly. These vivid comparisons help to concretize abstract philosophical ideas and make them more readily applicable to everyday life. The natural world, in particular, serves as a constant source of wisdom, reflecting the universal order and the interconnectedness he so deeply believed in. Observing the cycles of nature, the growth and decay, reinforces his acceptance of impermanence and the inherent rationality of the cosmos. A nuanced element in the Meditations is the reflection on suffering and pain. Rather than denying pain, Marcus acknowledges its existence but argues against allowing it to conquer the mind. He differentiates between the physical sensation of pain and the mental judgment about that pain. By stripping away the judgment that pain is inherently bad, its power to disturb the mind diminishes. He encourages resilience and endurance, seeing physical discomfort as an opportunity to exercise courage and fortitude. This approach is not about masochism, but about preventing the mind from being enslaved by bodily sensations, maintaining its sovereignty even in distress. Finally, the cumulative effect of the Meditations is an invitation to live a life of coherence and integrity. Marcus's constant self-correction and rigorous adherence to his principles serve as a model for aspiring to a life where one's thoughts, words, and actions are consistently aligned with one's highest values. It is a call to intellectual honesty, emotional discipline, and unwavering moral commitment. The continuous, cyclical nature of the themes across the 12 books suggests that philosophical practice is not a one-time achievement but a lifelong endeavor, requiring constant vigilance and renewed effort. The single voice of the narration mirrors this deeply personal and continuous journey, offering a powerful, intimate connection to the enduring wisdom of one of history's most thoughtful leaders. This comprehensive summary aims to draw together all these threads, providing a holistic overview of the profound and timeless lessons embedded within Marcus Aurelius's Meditations.